When you see the word stakeholders in education, does a clear picture come to mind? What feeling does the word evoke? Who are stakeholders anyway, and how do their voices influence the decision-making process in education? Stakeholders in education are people, and we know people are the heart of education system. They are the teachers, administrators, learners, parents, and the whole community. Good day everyone! Today I will be discussing on the issues of voice and voicelessness with English, particularly on the importance of teacher's voice in designing school curriculum. And here are the three objectives of this presentation. The first one is identify the issues in the curricular change. The second one, determine the factors that hinder teachers' participation in restructuring curriculum design. And the third one, determine the importance of teachers' voice in the change of curriculum. Several studies in the past reported that teachers' voices play an integral part in the planning and designing curriculum. However, these voices were not heard by those in the higher authority. In this regard, we will be discussing the issues of voices of those who play an important role in the learning process. Without them, learning may not be possible and successful as well. But before we delve in the issues on the voices related with teaching English, let us define and discuss first what teacher's voice means. Teacher voice refers to the values, opinions, beliefs, perspectives, expertise, and cultural backgrounds of the teacher working in a school, which extends to teacher unions, professional organizations, and other entities that advocate for teachers. To further understand the role of teacher's voice in the curriculum planning and designing, let us discuss a research article focusing on teacher's voice conducted by Federico Castro. It is entitled Teachers' Voices and Curricular Change, a Critical Review by Federico Castro. The study conducted by Castro discussed the perceptions of EFL teachers in designing the new English curriculum in an English department of higher education institution in the Dominican Republic. It aimed at investigating how a group of 7 EFL teachers having been heard during the design process of the new English curriculum. The nature of the problem. Over the last decades, the issues of teachers' voice, participation, and involvement, and teachers' marginalization in the process related to educational changes have increasingly been recognized in the existing literature. In this case, the lack of voice is clearly perceived in the lack of personal commitment and involvement arising from a common situation that teachers experience in their daily lives at workplaces, that of having to follow dicta devised by others. Abudu and Mensa in 2016 added that teachers are instructed to carry out the curricula that they took no part in designing. What had been mentioned in the situation about teachers' voice is actually true. Teachers were considered as merely implementers of the newly designed curriculum. Similarly, in Philippine context, the teachers share the same sentiments with regards to how their voices perceived by the higher authorities, such as administrators and other school leaders. As what Eremberi in 2019 mentioned, that teachers are not involved in the curriculum design and development because planning a curriculum is a prerogative of the decision makers from the DepEd, administrators, and school owners. Teachers are ignored, marginalized, and do not know when the curriculum is to be designed. According to Abudu and Mensa in 2016, teachers are key players in the educational sector. Therefore, it is critical that they play a central role in curriculum development. Added to this, Bass and Sternberg in 2019 mentioned that teachers who are practitioners of the curriculum should be more involved in the curriculum development process, thus helping the curriculum to be implemented more effectively in the classroom. Indeed, a lot of research studies mention the importance of teachers' voice in the curriculum planning and designing. However, these voices will remain neglected, which causes the curriculum implementation to fail and directly affects teachers' performance in the curriculum and how they perceive themselves as teachers. Added to this, several studies revealed the barriers to teachers' participation in the curriculum process. It includes teachers' lack of information about the change and about the role they are to play, huge teachers' workloads, lack of expertise, inadequate funding, and issue of teachers' marginalization in curriculum development process. This study was anchored on a critical theory stance wherein the theoretical framework evolves on the areas of what being critical means, critical applied linguistics, and the issues of teachers' voice, participation, and involvement in curriculum development. Also, the methods and result in discussion of this study are presented in the succeeding discussion. And now, what does critical mean in research? According to Benesch in 1990, being critical is the ability to look for hidden assumptions and fallacies in arguments. Being able to do it implies constantly questioning and challenging the status quo to uncover, examine, and debate the taken for granted assumptions and presuppositions in order to be able to problematize the givens in a specific situation in order to transform it. In other words, he described being critical as being a keen observer and self-reflective. One must know how to identify false ideas from a genuine one. Moreover, it is not only about understanding the situation, but also to be able to change it for the better. The other area in which our studies evolved with is on critical applied linguistics. According to Castro, critical applied linguistics, critical teaching, critical pedagogy all entail adopting a critical and self-reflective stance toward questioning common assumptions, starting with our own. It also means being aware of the power structures within ourselves and in the context where we work, to be aware of where power and control are and where they should really be. Teachers' voice, participation, and involvement. According to Carl in 2005, teachers are the principal role players in the curriculum change. Therefore, they should be given the opportunity for their voices to be heard before the actual implementation takes place. However, several studies revealed that in many contexts, teachers were not involved in the strategic planning and designing of the curriculum. And by ignoring teachers' voice, the outcomes of the newly designed curriculum may in fact be thwarted and may lead teachers to confusion and difficulty in implementation, and it will always remain voices crying in wilderness. Pines also concluded that teachers' lack of voice in the decision-making process is one of the reasons why teachers suffer from anxiety and depression, because they fail to understand their significance from work. They also argue that teachers' voice is such a strategy that for change to be implemented and sustained, teachers need to own the educational innovation and the process of change. In other words, teachers have to be informed about the reasons for curriculum change, understand and believe in it. It is also beneficial if the teachers should participate in the planning stage and not only in the implementation phase. If teachers are the people who ultimately have to implement the curriculum, they have the right to be involved in the process right from its beginnings. If we want committed teachers, the diminishing sense of agency or control that many teachers report must be replaced by a sense of accountability with trust, of participation and involvement through hearing their voices and bringing them into the educational processes that occur outside the classroom walls. Undeniably, successful implementation lies in the hands of teachers. At the end of the day, it is they who will determine whether innovations will eventually be carried out inside the classroom. This study sought to answer the following research questions. The first one, do teachers perceive that their voices are being heard during the design process of the new English curriculum? The second one, can teachers' perceptions influence their involvement in the implementation phase of the new English curriculum? And the third one, what actions can the leaders of this process take at this stage to allow teachers' voices to be heard? For the methodology, the study was qualitative in nature. The researcher used a questionnaire and a semi-structured interview for data collection. The participants were 7 part-time EFL teachers who work in the language department of a higher education institution in the Dominican Republic. The research instruments used were validated by 2 EFL teachers who are not part of the study. After the comprehensive analysis of the data collected, the study found out that one of the barriers to teachers' participation in curriculum development is their lack of information about the change and about the role they are to play. This means that teachers need to be informed and acknowledge that they can have invaluable contribution on restructuring curriculum. The following are the salient themes emerged from the questionnaire and the interviews conducted. The first theme is teachers' perception about the design process of the new English curriculum. Evidently, the interview revealed that teachers needed to be informed about the change and the reason of curricular change, for it may affect them directly as the implementer of the new curriculum. As two of the participants expressed, "If I would have given a chance to participate in the design of this project, it would have given me a certain sense of identity with the project." Then another one said, "Had I been informed, I could have started to experiment in my classes." And another one said, "I did not participate, I was just informed." From these statements, teachers centered their views on the issue of change. They were complaining of not being properly informed about the change in curriculum. For the second theme, influence of teachers' perception and their involvement in the implementation phase of this new curriculum. One of the two participants stated that knowing about the new curriculum structure and goals in advance would have helped to avoid some insecurities they feel now. Another one said, "If the program fails, everybody is responsible to make the appropriate change." From the given statements, the participants expressed that their participation in the curriculum design process is important for the following reasons. First, they feel that they are part of the process. Second, they develop a higher sense of responsibility. Third, they can give valuable inputs. And the last one, there is more commitment, because after all, they will be the one responsible for the implementation phase. And for the last theme, leaders' action to allow teachers' voices to be heard. One of the participants expressed, "If we would have been assigned certain responsibilities during that process, all of us would have been more committed. We would have started to know how the curriculum was going to work." One of them also noted, "We need more training courses focused on communicative activities." In this sense, teacher participants expressed the importance of involving them in curriculum design for them to be more committed and responsible in doing the task, especially during the implementation process. They also need to acquire more knowledge about the new program in the communicative approach, which is the primary teaching strategy to be used. And now, here are the following pedagogical and theoretical contributions for this study. The first one, the need to involve teachers in decision-making processes from the initial stage of the change process. Second, institutions need to create learning stages that are more conducive to learning and growth so that they can handle the challenges of time and workload more easily. Next, change leaders should be sensitive and aware of the feelings and attitudes teachers develop before and throughout a curriculum change process. And the last one, it is important for teachers, administrators, and researchers to focus their attention on the following questions. What conditions are necessary to create engaged teachers who are reflective of their practice? Next, what conditions do institutions have to provide teachers to encourage their motivation in continuing their professional growth and development? And lastly, what are the risks and responsibilities that teachers might face when given the opportunity to act against their status quo? Indeed, quality and involvement by teachers is essential, not only in curriculum development, but also for recognizing and nurturing teachers' personal and professional growth, their identity with the institution, and to strengthen their sense of agency. And that would be all. Thank you for listening.